interim county manager, acting attorney, staff, as well as citizens. It is 7 p.m. We are live on YouTube, and we are missing Commissioner Burns. She has not logged in just yet, but we do have a majority of the board on the line if we want to go ahead and get started at 7. And I will let you know once she joins. I would just like oh, sorry, she's coming in now. So we have her. I just admitted her into the room. Just a quick announcement, asking everyone to keep their mics muted and their cameras off unless you are presenting or the board is asking a question. Commissioner Burns, I just want to make sure you're able to hear me.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And Chair Howerton, we can get started.
Thank you, Monica. Good evening, board members, staff, and citizens. Today is August 23rd, 2021, the Board of County Commissioners meeting. And I will read the public charge. The Board of Commissioners asks its members and citizens to conduct themselves in a respectful, courteous manner, both with the board and fellow citizens. At any time, should any member of the board or any citizen fail to observe this public charge, the chair will ask the offending person to leave the meeting until that individual regains personal control. Should the quorum fail to be restored, the chair will recess the meeting until such time that a genuine commitment to the public charge is observed. To get started this evening, I'm going to ask Commissioner Alam if she would repeat the Pledge of Allegiance for us.
Thank you, Chair Howerton. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Alam. Are there any agenda adjustments? Hearing none, I'll move on to our announcements, and our clerk, Monica Toomer, will now read the announcements.
Good evening. I will be reading the announcements for tonight's meeting. The first one is a virtual meeting on bidding and construction. LaChase and Wright Build are hosting a MWBE outreach and information session for 300 East Main Street on Tuesday, August 31st, 2021 at 5 p.m. This is for all construction industry related firms that have an interest in providing goods or services for this project. To register, please visit www.eventbrite.com and search 300 East Main Street. Dementia Care Management and Support Services at DCSL. The Durham Center for Senior Life is now offering a free dementia care management program for adults 60 years or older with unmet needs and need help identifying or coordinating services. If you are interested in learning more, please contact Nakia Slade at 919-688-8247, extension 116, or email her at nslade@dcslnc.org. NCDOT Fall Litter Sweep needs volunteers. The North Carolina Department of Transportation is planning a litter sweep for fall, dates September 11th through the 15th, and they are seeking volunteers to support this effort. If you are interested, please sign up at www.ncdot.gov/litter sweep. Nurturing Durham resource website. The Ready Project is pleased to announce the Nurturing Durham resource website in both English and Spanish. This website offers easy to find, free, and low cost resources dedicated to supporting the social, emotional, and mental well-being of children and families in Durham. Please visit www.nurturingdurhamnc.org for additional information. Seeking Youth Ambassadors. The Durham Office on Youth is looking for the next cohort of Durham change makers. Young people interested in being leaders and decision makers in local government must apply by September 12th at 11:59 p.m. For more information and to apply, please visit www.durhamnc.gov/changed-by-youth. And lastly, DCO Board of Elections early voting. Residents looking to cast their ballots in the 2021 municipal primary can do so starting September 16th through October 2nd. Please visit www.decovotes.com for full details on early voting, to view early voting locations, as well as hours. All of these announcements will also be placed on our Durham County website. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica, for reading those for us. And when you mentioned voting September 16th, I'm thinking that soon? Times move. So thank you again for reading those. That brings us to our minutes, commissioners. We have our minutes for July 12th, a regular session for approval. Are there any comments or any edits? Commissioner Jacobs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think I saw Commissioner Lom's hand up too. I think we both wanted to just add additional announcements.
Okay. All right, so we'll go back to, so let's go ahead and, since I've already called for a motion, and then I will entertain announcements, but let's go ahead and move this through.
Okay, I move approval for the July 12th minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Jacobs, second by, is that Commissioner Burns?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and if I can get a roll call.
Commissioner Alon?
Aye.
Commissioner Burns?
Aye.
Commissioner Carter?
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs?
Aye.
Chair Howerton?
Aye. Minutes have been approved 5-0. Okay, so there were some announcements that the Commissioner Jacobs that you had.
I'll let Commissioner Lom go first and then I'll follow her.
Sure.
Thank you. I just wanted to share, I'm sure all of our board members and staff know that earlier today, the North Carolina courts granted voting rights to over 50,000 people on probation or parole for a felony. So now individuals, if you are on probation or on parole for a felony, you can now register to vote. And in the election that we have coming up, have your voices heard and be able to advocate for your community. So please be sure to register to vote online at the DMV website or at your local county board of elections. I also had another announcement that there are local nonprofits that are preparing for the arrival of refugees that have Amazon wish lists of items to support the families as they transition into their new homes. If you want to support these efforts, you can go to World Relief Durham's website, and they have a Amazon wish list of items of like plates, towels, bed sheets to support these families.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobs.
And my announcement was actually similar to what Commissioner Lom just spoke about. So I'll add to what she has shared, that we are going to be having an unprecedented situation in Durham where we are on the list as one of the cities to resettle Afghan refugees, and it's estimated that we could have as many as 90 Afghan refugees coming to Durham in September. And so there is a great need for volunteers, as Commissioner Lom said, to help with donations, housing, interpreters, other types of volunteer efforts. And as Commissioner Lom noted, Church World Relief, Church World Service, World Relief Durham, and Lutheran Services are all agencies, if you go to their websites, where you can find out how to help. And I know, Commissioner Lom, you suggested to our board to actually ask some of these groups to come and perhaps share, you know, and let people know in the community how they can help. I think that's a great suggestion. I hope we can do that at one of our upcoming meetings. And other great news is that the Pfizer vaccine got FDA approval. So yay. Lots of good news today.
Any other announcements for other board members? Commissioner Burns?
I just want to, I'm not taking away, no, I'm happy that Commissioner Long brought that one up. I echo everything. I think the one sentence I really want people to take away from it, because some people might say, well, people in North Carolina, once they ended probation, the best sentence that goes on, no, North Carolina is now the only state in the South that will allow you to vote as soon as you leave prison. So I think that's the message you want to, because at some point you do get it back through probation. And if it survives appeal, we will be the only state in the South where you can vote as soon as you leave prison. So Commissioner Long, thank you for bringing that up. But for some people who might be confused, say, well, I thought folks, no, as soon as you leave. But that's all I got. But thank you, Commissioner Long, for bringing it up.
Well, thank you both for bringing those items and those issues to the forefront. And I want to take a moment to just acknowledge our current challenges that's occurring across the state and nation with COVID, violence, national disasters, the mudslides in North Carolina and our western counties. You know, as commissioners, we've connected to those commissioners in the far area because our work with the association, and even the crisis globally. As chair of the board, my thoughts continue to be with individuals and families and communities that are impacted, and to the Durham community. That we continue to show, the community continues to show resilience as we navigate through together, hopeful for sustainable solutions that will bring about real change. I want to thank the Durham citizens, for first responders and businesses for your hard work and leadership during these times, because these are some difficult times for our first responders and businesses. Just to say thank you. Okay, I'm going to move on to our proclamation. It's not a proclamation, well, it is a proclamation. 0459, the board is requested to proclaim September 2021 as National Recovery Month for Durham County. And once the proclamation is read, Bob Thomas is on the call to receive the proclamation. So I will read this proclamation. Proclamation for National Recovery Month, September 2021. Whereas behavioral health is now recognized as an essential part of one's overall health and well-being. And whereas the cost of not encouraging mental health and substance use recovery is significant for individuals, families, neighborhoods, and the community at large. And whereas recovery from mental and substance use disorders occurs every day through a variety of recovery support resources and treatment programs. People in recovery strive to achieve healthy lifestyles, stable homes, meaningful daily activities, stronger neighborhoods, and contribute in positive ways to the larger community. And whereas according to his 2019 State of Mental Health in American report, over 44 million American adults, that's 18.7%, have a mental health condition. Access to care is improving, but most Americans still have no access to care. The report states that 12.2%, that's 5.3 million adults with a mental illness remain uninsured, and 56.4% of adults with a mental illness, approximately 24 million, receive no treatment. The rate of youth experiencing a mental health illness continues to rise, and 62% of teens and children receive no treatment. About 10% treatment. Similarly, SAMHSA reports that 22.7, and as you can tell, this is emotional for me. 22.7 million adults were in need of substance abuse treatment, while only about 10% received treatment. That, given these statistics, we must strive to reduce the stigma and negative stereotypes associated with brain disorders and help individuals, families, and the larger community learn to view them as we would any other medical condition. And whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the National Association of Recovery Communities, the White House, Office of National Drug Control Policy, and Recovery Community of Durham invite all residents of Durham Community, North Carolina, to participate in National Recovery Month. And now, therefore, I, Brenda Howerton, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2021 as National Recovery Month, and call upon all the people of Durham County to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's recovery theme. Recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, every community. As this reminds us all that no one is alone in this journey through recovery. This 23rd day of August, 2021. And I think we have Bob on the line to accept it, or is it Dr. Lonnie on the call?
It's Dr. Lonnie.
Okay, welcome. You'd like to have comments?
Sure. I sure just want to say thank the board for proclamation of support, ongoing support for every month, and millions of people who are now in recovery, who have made significant changes in their lives, changing the idea that having a mental health or substance abuse issue is a deviant or moral misfit and those kind of things, but bring the light that we do become productive members of society. And as a member of recovery and citizen of Durham, I just want to thank Durham, our program, Criminal Justice Resource Center, mental health. And I've been in the field for a lot of years, and I love Durham, and I love what Durham offers. Still a whole lot of work to be done. Like it says, the theme is for everyone, every person, every family, every community. I can't think of anyone who hasn't been affected one way or another. Most of our problems in our community stem from mental health, and our substance. And I want to say thank you. We normally have outdoor events in September, but due to the virus or the pandemic, we're going to be doing some virtual things on site if you look at our web for the month. And we just want to say again, thank you, voting the positive image that people are recovering and becoming. Right? And we're here and able, and I want to come back. It's my idea, but I want to come back, and I'm impressed with what you guys are doing. I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Commissioners, comments from any of you? Commissioner Jacobs?
Dr. Lonnie, I just want to say thank you so much for bringing this proclamation to us, and I really look forward to the recovery community celebration every year. Lately, it's been down at Central Park and under the pavilion, and it's always just a great, wonderful event that really celebrates all the people who have just accomplished so much in recovery, and it's just always a beautiful event to see everybody coming out and supporting each other, and then to see all the organizations that are, all the nonprofits that are working to support people who are recovering or who are dealing with substance use and mental health issues. So I just want to say thank you and for all that you do, and everybody who's part of the recovery community, and that we know this has been a really tough time, COVID. We know we've seen the data about how people have been impacted by the isolation and the stresses from COVID, and the increased overdoses, and so it's more important than ever that we have the help that we need for people. So thank you again for bringing this to us and for all that you do.
Any other comments? Seeing none, Dr. Lonnie, again, thank you so much. I think you can hear in my voice that this is heartfelt. So thank you again for bringing this to us and really making us aware. I mean, we may be aware, but it intensifies our awareness of what's occurring in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think we will move on to our next item, commissioners. This is awards, and that we are excited about. 0520, Durham County government recognizes with 3 awards. We've got 3 awards, achievement awards by the National Association of Counties. The board requested to recognize these awards and the recipients of the awards. I'm going to ask our interim manager, Claudia Hager, to share the award-winning departments. And we also have the department managers, Derek Bowman, Board of Election, Dwayne Brenson, Tax Administrator, Rodney Jenkins, Public Health, on the line to share any additional comments. So we'll turn it over to our interim manager, Hager.
Good evening. It's always exciting to come to this period of time each year when our departments are recognized for efforts that elevate to the point of a National Association of Counties NACO Award, Achievement Award. The departments had 13 different categories to submit their submission. We did in the county administration and management, as well as in the health categories. For the county administration and management category, first it was the Board of Elections, and Derek could not join us tonight. He's at another national conference. And Board of Elections, our team have received many awards for their innovative approaches in making elections seamless and accessible to our residents. But for this particular one, they are recognized for an app that streamlined and expedited the opening and closing processes for the elections. And so This app allowed the residents to see where lines were, how many people were in line, and to vote quickly, especially when it was during the period you could vote at any location. The simplified process helped with our voter turnout. It was most effective and helpful during this season of COVID. So again, we applaud Derek Bowens, although he could not be with us tonight, for their efforts. And this was a collaboration between the Board of Elections, our GIS department, and the IS&T departments. So we are grateful for them. Next, we have the Public Health Department. They're recognized for their COVID-19 vaccine distribution dashboard. And it's one that I know all of us have come to rely on, as well as our residents. This dashboard is a simple way to view and monitor data about COVID vaccinations for county residents. The Public Health Office, the Public Health Department, Office of Emergency Services, and IS&T collaborated to develop this COVID-19 vaccine distribution dashboard, which transforms raw data about Durham County vaccinations into easy to read, interactive format. And there's also lots of other data on that website as well about the counts with COVID demographics. It's just a rich website. And then last, we have our tax administration department. They are being recognized for its multifaceted COVID-19 response. Tax administration deployed a remote call center through a new tool called Jabber, and the department implemented a public live chat feature on the tax website. The live chat feature reduced wait times and received a 0.9% satisfaction rate. We are excited about this particular improvement. They were also recognized for their long-term payment plan deferral program, which created opportunities for individuals that may not qualify under the state relief programs. So they were in the best in category, represented under county administration and management. So again, we applaud them all the department partners that help them. And it just speaks to how resilient our team members are, because these actions came during a time we were facing two crises, a malware attack, as well as the pandemic. So I am grateful to have colleagues like them, and I'll turn it over to them to share. So Rodney and Dwayne.
Thank you so much, Interim Manager Hager, and good evening to the Board of County Commissioners and staff. It's a pleasure to be amongst you, and it's indeed a pleasure for me to accept this award on behalf of the 250 plus hardworking men and women of Durham County Public Health. In my studies, I've learned that relationships are everything and all else are derivatives. And our relationships have allowed us to come this far, and also to have a shining example of a dashboard for everyone to keep themselves safe, to learn about resources, but most importantly, to learn about that life-saving elixir that we have that is now FDA approved. So we certainly want to make sure that that continues to be a resounding example of what Durham is all about, which is technology and progressiveness. We certainly thank you so much, and I'll pass it on to Durham.
Good evening, board. First and foremost, I want to thank the board for setting the tone and setting the values for our organization. We appreciate the support. Manager Hager for leadership and guidance as always, and IS&T. We can go to IS&T with about any idea, and they can figure out how to make it work. So we wouldn't be very far at all without IS&T. And I'll just say that we try to make the experience of paying taxes as pleasant as possible. That's a tall task. We realize that, but that is our goal. And the tax office is very excited about this award. And we appreciate the recognition tonight before the board.
you.
And Commissioner Howerton, please forgive me. I failed to call Greg Merrill's name. He worked with everybody, and when I grow up, I want to be as calm, cool, and collected as Greg all the time.
He really is kind of cool.
Oh my goodness. And so, Greg, please share. And I thank you for your team and their efforts.
So, good evening, board, county commissioners, and general and interim manager Claudia. I just want to say thank you all for the recognition. As both Dwayne and Rodney said, you know, we work collaboratively, and we work with teamwork with all of the departments in the county. And in the old days, I just want to mention something, right? In the old days, I'm old enough to remember that the IT organizations used to be just a group of folks behind closed doors, and they would wait for the telephone to ring. And that's called a support organization. Today, the IT organizations are problem-solving organizations. And that's the role that we play, right? We want to work with our colleagues, our departments, to figure out what problems need to be solved so that we'll meet the needs of the citizens and the residents of Durham County. And so these awards are just a reflection of that work. And as you know, teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to obtain uncommon results. So thank you all. Thank you, Interim Manager Claudia. Without her support as our Goal 5 champion and her support since we've been part of this organization, many of these things would not be possible. So really grateful for all of your support tonight, and really grateful for all of the people, right? The IT team and the other employees in the county that we work with. These things are not just IS&P. You know, these are collaborative efforts that require the input from all of the departments. And so my thanks goes out to all of the employees across all of Durham County government. Thank you.
Wow.
Commissioner Howerton, one more pause. One of our stars in our Office of Emergency Services on the line, they were one of the partners with the Public Health Department with developing the data dashboard. You know, I'm a person who loves data, but you know, it's one thing to have it, but until it's integrated and mined in a way that helps create policy decisions, it's not as valuable. His team in the emergency services area was critical with that data dashboard coming together with their data scientists. So Ari, if you don't mind sharing a few remarks as well.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to catch you off guard, but I
There is.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the board for this opportunity, Madam Chair, Interim Manager Hager. So I would be remiss if we didn't mention the efforts of our data analyst, JP, who now has transitioned over to public health, actually as a result, or partly as a result of his work with them through the pandemic. And as we were running the EOC, JP, as the data analyst, came together with public health, and we realized that we needed to portray this information, and Rod and his team put it all together with JP. So I just want to say thanks for the opportunity to add that in.
Thank you so much. I think I have covered everyone, and if I've forgotten someone, please forgive me. Charge it to my head and not to my heart.
Well, thank you, Manager Hager. And, you know, the thing that I want to say consistently, what I've heard, the thing from all of you is collaboration and team. That is so much a part of what I hear that you do, that elevated the work that you do to the National Association of Counties, because there are over 3,000 counties across the country that submit all kinds of applications and projects that they're doing. And it just makes me so proud to know that Durham folks got the awards. So I'm just really, really proud. Commissioners, open it up for commissioners' comments. Commissioner Alam.
Thank you, Chair Hamilton. You said it very well, but I just want to echo my appreciation and thanks to our amazing team. And y'all are really an example of teamwork makes the dream work. So I really want to thank you all for your individual contributions and also just making sure that we stay collaborative and a joint cohesive county government. It's really amazing. And Director Jenkins, I know we all know how amazing of a job you've been doing through this pandemic, and even before that. But during this pandemic, you have really stepped up, and your entire team, to make sure that we're getting vaccines to the community in ways that, you know, other counties need to follow with. You know, I was stopped by the back to school bash last Friday, and I saw your team was out there giving so many vaccinations. People were lined up in the parking lot to get vaccinated by your team. I saw Deputy Director Patterson while I was there, and it was just an amazing sight to see. And Dwayne, to have a 99% satisfaction rate with anything related to taxes is amazing. So I really want to applaud you and your team that y'all were able to do what's probably the impossible of making people satisfied to pay their taxes and to reach out to pay their taxes. So thank you so much. And thank you, Greg and Ari, for all the behind the scenes work of making that come to fruition.
Commissioner Burns?
Yes, ma'am. I will be relatively quick. I just want to say first of all, to Director Bowens, because he's not here. Everybody else shouted out folks on their team. But I do want to, number one, apologize to everybody, because I remember a couple of weeks ago, I gave Derek a shout out for winning. But it was because I actually saw his people on stage. I saw Nikita and I saw Brenda, so the rest of you all. So I do want to say thank you to Nikita Reese in that office, because she's the Deputy Public Information Officer there. So she took, Greg's shaking her head like he built a platform, but somebody had to get the message to the people. Brenda Baker was also there. You know, during elections, a lot of times, you know, people complain about the most random things. Somebody's sign is too big. Somebody's name is on a piece of paper wrong. I mean, just stuff that makes absolutely no sense at all. And Brenda was the one who was there, you know, holding the fort down, while Derek was out in the street, you know, just trying to make sure everything held together. So I do want to make sure that they get a shout out, because they were at the conference as well. And that means a lot to me, especially when we look right now, and there are 48 states who have hundreds of bills in their state chambers right now that are assaulting and attacking voting rights. And right here in Durham, you know, we are the state, we are the city, we are the county that is working to make sure it's as transparent as possible, it's as easy as possible, it's as open as possible. And to win an award for it, I wish I could say, you know, that we were the beacon. But again, these 358 some bills, some of which are actually here in North Carolina, are problematic. So I just want, Derek is not here, his team is not here, but I want him to know that he has a team of politicians who are behind him and who will support him no matter what comes out of these state chambers. And I feel comfortable saying that for all 5 of us. I feel comfortable. Okay, yeah, I got nods for everybody that he can continue to do this good work. And you shouldn't. The other thing I want to throw out there to Rod Jenkins, because we were calling you Dr. Jenkins for a while, because, you know, we only tuned into 3 things last year. While he is no longer there, we tuned into 3 things. That was Cuomo, you know, he did the walk of shame this week. We did the governor and you. That was literally all we had, like, because we didn't know anything, we were not doctors. And you came in here and you had only started, I think, was it January 13th? Am I right about your start date? And then like 2 months later to the day, the whole world, you know, shut down, the state shut down, and you took it on the chin. I would have ran back to Robeson County, but I saw their numbers today, and I'm happy that you did run back to Robeson County, because their numbers are dismal. Our numbers are great. Our neighbors' numbers are great. And I know it's because of you. And I know you had some tough phone calls with some folks at the state and with some folks nationally. And I will continue to say, have those tough conversations with people, because you have 5 women here who don't have any reason to not back you up for those tough conversations, to make sure we got vaccines, to make sure we got equitable, to make sure we open up sites. You asked the tough questions on TV. I don't know where Joanne is, but there was a quote that Joanne said on TV one day. I remember, texting a few of the commissioners, just so y'all know, she said this on TV. We not going to, she's fine. That's how all of us feel. Are we all on the same page? So, we back your team up too. And I know that you've had some award-winning communication staff. And last but not least, Dwayne, I got my tax notice. I want to give it back. I got my tax notice, but I also got that wonderful letter in there about our new program. Now, I want you to know there's some people, even though our program has not, I know it's in the DHHS, I know it's in the DSS, but it was a program that you also had a part in. We made a program from last year better this year, and already before we can even get applicants in, we have politicians that want to attack it. I want you to know that the same way that I back up Derek and the same way I back up Rod, that's the way I'm going to back up you. And I have at least 2 or 3 votes to do it. So you continue to do your job, and we're going to use data. It's going to be data driven. We're going to figure out if we can get those 30% of folks in here to get these applications turned in. Joanne, I hope you're listening as well. Dwayne, thank you, because I paid my taxes and you used a velvet hammer to do it. You told us one time when we were talking that if you can do this work and save money at the same time. So how you have broken the mold on that, I applaud you. I'm pretty sure that people are going to, try to pull you away from us because you are worth your weight in gold. But I do hope that you stay with us because the people of Durham really need the strategies that you've employed to make sure that we get things paid for and that they don't feel ashamed and that they feel comfortable about paying their taxes. And to you, I say thank you because I know how hard it was for me when I was not working and how hard it was for me to pay my taxes. And it's nice to have somebody at the helm that understands real people's problems. So thank you, sir. I'll stop there. Greg, I haven't broke my computer this week, so,
Other comments from commissioners? Seeing no hands. Commissioner Jacobs? And I think I see Commissioner Carter as well.
Well, I'll just echo what's already been said by our interim manager and my 2 fellow board members. Just want to congratulate everybody, Derek, Rod, Greg, and Dwayne and all of your staff, everyone who has been a part of all of these initiatives. And I think what struck with me, again, as has been mentioned, is the teamwork that's behind all of this. But that also, this is about, at the heart of it, about information and getting information to our residents and doing it in, easy to access, innovative, accessible ways. And so it's really making a difference in people's lives. So thank you. And Greg, you said a quote. Could you please repeat that? You said something about technology is the fuel. And I really wanted to write it down because it was a great quote. Do you remember what you said?
Yes, I say it all the time to my team. I said, teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to obtain uncommon results.
That is fantastic. I love that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Carter, I saw your hand.
Oh, yes. I definitely want to lend my voice to this lovely chorus of all of my fellow commissioners and Interim Manager Hager. Indeed, the individual accomplishments are exemplary. We're becoming like the senior superlatives. We're the county superlatives every year at NACO. We are real proud of you, and we are going to try to follow your lead. If we want to solve the kinds of problems in the ways that you have done, we will also try to be a better team and to follow your lead on that. As my colleagues have all said, your cross-sector, collaboration and teamwork is really what makes you such a standout. It's hard to do it. I think people struggle all the time to do it, but you showed us how, and we're going to be trying to follow your lead. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right, so if there's nothing else, Again, kudos to all of you and your teams. Thank you. All right, commissioners, we are down to our consent agenda. There are 11 items on our consent agenda. Are there any items that commissioners like to pull and place at the end of the agenda? If not, I will pass it over to our interim manager to go through the consent agenda, and if there's nothing to be pulled, she can take whichever actions you would like.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question first?
Yes.
Just wondering, so we can save also Manager Hager's voice, is it possible, since all of us have reviewed it and if no items need to be pulled, to approve the consent agenda without, or do they need to be read?
It's up to Manager Hager. How would she like to proceed?
Sure.
Allow her to make that.
Sure.
Okay.
Given the board does not have questions, I will recommend that the board moves forward with approving the agenda, the consent agenda.
So much. And now I can ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved, Madam Chair.
I'll second.
And it's been moved and second, and to have a verbal vote.
Commissioner Alon,
Aye.
Commissioner Burns,
You know, I really wanted to go over.
Wait a minute.
Aye, Monica.
Commissioner Carter, Vice Chair Jacobs,
Aye.
and Chair Howerton.
Aye. Consent agenda is approved, 5-0. All right. So now we have a public hearing tonight. Commissioner, we have one public hearing that's before us this evening, and it's 210505. Zoning map change, Old Bahama Fire Station, Z200060026. The board is requested to conduct a public hearing and receive public comments on the zoning map change and take two motions. We have Michael Stock and the planning manager on the line for this discussion.
Thank you very much, Chair Howerton. Michael Stock with the Planning Department. I am going to keep my video off if it's okay, because I have bandwidth issues and I'd like to maintain constant contact with you all instead of cutting in and out. But thank you again, Chair Howerton and commissioners. Michael Stock with the Planning Department. Before I begin, staff would like to note that all required notifications have been performed for this Planning Department public hearing item and are on file for review. Zoning map change request Z2046 is a request by the Bahama Volunteer Fire Rescue Company to change the zoning designation of two parcels of land totaling 0.76 acres and located at 1426 Bahama Road. The current zoning is commercial neighborhood, or CN, and residential suburban 20, or RS 20. The applicant proposes to change this designation for both parcels to commercial neighborhood with a text-only development plan, or CND. A text-only development plan allows an applicant to place limitations on uses otherwise allowed by the zoning district. No graphics are needed. The proposed use limitations in this application would prohibit any bar, nightclub, or other use that serves alcohol for on-site consumption. There is no change to the watershed overlay that's applicable to this site, which is the Lake Mickey Little River District A. And attachment 9, which is the proposed ordinance, has a specific text for that text-only development plan. The parcel zone CN is currently designated commercial, and the other parcel zoned RS20 is designated as very low residential on the future land use map, or FLUM, of the comprehensive plan, and that's shown on attachment 3 in your packet. The proposed CND zoning is not consistent with the parcel designated as very low density residential. So if this proposed zoning is approved, staff recommends a change to the FLUM designation of that parcel to commercial. The Planning Commission heard this request at their June 8th meeting and recommended approval 10-0. As a reminder, and as mentioned by Chair Howard, and Board of Commissioners are asked to take 2 actions, first being action on the request for the rezoning ordinance, which is attachment 9 in your packet, and the second action would be a vote on the appropriate statement of consistency, which is attachment 10 in your packet. Thank you, and representatives from the Bahama Fire Department are here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mike. I just, before I turn it over to the commissioners, I have a couple of things. And I'm not, probably Tom may not be on the line tonight, but I do want to thank him for serving. He mentioned that this is his last, I think it's his last meeting or last report to us. Tom Miller is who I'm talking about, that has served on the Planning Commission. The other thing is there were a little bit of hesitancy from two of the members of approving this. They seem to have a little bit of concern. While I support this rezoning, I must observe that as a general rule, I do not believe that we should grant rezoning requests that create non-conformities. Can you talk a little bit about that? What does that mean?
The issue of nonconformity did come up in the Planning Commission public hearing, and the 2 parcels, and I'm going to pull up for, if it's okay, and please tell me if it's not, just a context map so you can see the 2 parcels that we're talking about. Is that okay to do?
Sure.
Okay, let me just do that for 1 second. And hopefully it'll work. If not, we'll see. Host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay, so never mind that.
I'm sorry, Michael. I actually just made you a co-host, so you should be able to do your screen sharing now.
Okay, let's see.
See if that works.
Cool. Is that working for you all? Can you see that? Oops. Hold on. I had to hit the share button. Sorry.
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. Okay. So as you can see, there's 2 parcels. There's this parcel that's currently zoned CN, and then the other parcel that's currently zoned RS20. Both parcels are currently non-conforming parcels, which means that they were created when they were created and recorded. They were recorded per the rules allowed at that time. They were conforming, and then rules had subsequently changed throughout the years and made their size non-conforming, because the current rules for being in the rural tier and in not for the CN district itself requires a 2-acre parcel minimum, and being that it's in the MLRA watershed district, even more non-conforming, 3-acre parcel. But as you can also see, there's numerous parcels around here that are just the same size, if not a little bit smaller or a little bit bigger, but nowhere near 2 or 3 acres. What this zoning actually does is, in a minimal sense, actually reduces the non-conforming status, because it would bring both of these parcels together under one development site, making it actually a larger development site, bringing it closer to conformity. So staff does not have an issue with that non-conforming status. And sometimes non-conformities itself create a false kind of false sense of insecurity. There, maybe non-conforming uses might be something that's really worth taking a look at, but this just enables the applicant to better utilize the site, and the site is already used, as you're aware, as a non-conforming use, and they are looking to put limitations on the CN district uses, which there currently are not for even the CN zoning. So they're looking to make it a little bit more restrictive. But the long story short, it was discussed at the Planning Commission, and we did explain the non-conforming situation. And I hope that helps, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions.
It does. And for the public, could you say what CN means?
CN is commercial neighborhood.
Okay, that might be good.
And RS20 is residential suburban 20, which means generally 20,000 square foot residential lots.
Yeah, we use so many of those things. I wonder sometimes if the public is saying, "What in the heck is that?"
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
All right, thank you. Other questions? And any other questions or comments from commissioners before I open for public hearing? Okay, seeing no hands, I will now open. Did I see? Okay, I will now open the public hearing and have the county clerk acknowledge any calls or callers that are on the line or read any comments.
Chair Howerton, Board of Commissioners, we have not received any comments and no one signed up to speak.
Okay.
Commissioner Howerton, I know that the applicant is here to speak. They might not have known to sign up. Len Needham, and I'll just want to recognize Len Needham if he would like for you to let you know.
Okay. So if Len, you'd like to have a comment?
Yes, ma'am. Can you? Commissioner Howerton, can you hear me?
I can hear. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the time to speak. I'm Chief Len Needham, Bahama Fire Department, and what we're trying to do is we want to sell this property. It's our old fire station, and we're in the process of wanting to buy some more equipment. What we want to do is sell this so we can kind of vitalize the Bahama community and keep it restricted so it will conform to what the community wants and not be something there that's not conforming to what the people around would like. So that's why we put the limitations on it. We want to take this money instead of financing stuff when we buy a truck. We want to add this money to it so we can pay for it to help save all the taxpayers' money and be out from under the rental business and trying to keep up a property that's not under the fire department. And that's what we want to do since it's not being used as a fire station no more.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Commissioner Jacobs?
Well, welcome, Len, and I'm glad that you have at least better service than sometimes we get from folks in the northern part of the county, although I know you have your video off. I just want to say I remember speaking with you on Bahama Day about this property, and this is actually the property that the Bahama Day celebration takes place on, if anyone has been there. And it's really in the heart, I think, of the Bahama commercial area of the rural village, and I appreciate that what the fire department is trying to do with this development plan text amendment is to rule out a specific use, which does not allow a commercial use that has alcohol consumption. And I appreciate that you all are trying to, that you're going to be selling it and you want to make sure that community is protected from something that may not fit in with the surrounding other uses and what the community wants. So I support this and appreciate the efforts that you all are taking. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other comments. So, commissioners, due to virtual meetings, the new rule requires all public hearings to remain open for 24 hours to allow time for additional public comments. The public hearing will close tomorrow, August 24th. At the conclusion of this meeting, this item will be moved to the September 9th work session meeting. And at that time, comments received will be shared and a vote will be considered. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. We have 210511. It's another public hearing to consider allocating economic development funds to SmartWire Inc. And the board has requested to close the public hearing to consider allocating a total of $125,000 to SmartWires Inc. and authorize the interim manager Hager to enter into preliminary negotiations and execute an agreement with the company. So at this time, I will ask the clerk if any comments have been received.
Chair Howerton, no comments were received.
Thank you. Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and bring this item back to the board. Are there any additional comments from commissioners? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I would move that we allocate a total of $125,000 to SmartWires Inc. and authorize interim county manager Hager to enter into preliminary negotiations and execute an agreement with the company.
Okay. It's been moved by Commissioner Carter, second by Commissioner Lum, that we allocate the $145,000 to SmartWire. We need a verbal vote.
Commissioner Alum.
Aye.
Commissioner Burns.
A resounding aye.
Commissioner Carter.
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs.
Aye, and just to be clear, we are assuming that what is in the briefing sheet is also going to be incorporated into the agreement. I think that's our assumption, correct?
It is. It's what's in the document that we have in our package. Yes.
Right. Thank you.
And Chair Howerton.
Yes. So it passes 5-0. Other business commissioners is our Durham Public Health Focus Update. I know we said we would not have an update every session, but due to the state of things right now, the board has requested to have an update from our county staff on COVID-19 response and efforts. This discussion is, of course, led by Ron Jenkins, our public health director. Okay,
Thank
go
you,
ahead,
Madam
Ron.
Chair.
Thank you.
Just going to ask Madam Clerk if she allowed me to share my screen. All right. Can you see my screen, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Good evening again to commissioners, and promise to be really brief. COVID-19 vaccine distribution updates. Again, we want to make sure that you have the most accurate information to make sure that we keep ourselves safe. Again, prevention strategies, we want everyone to get vaccinated, but we also want you to keep doubling down on the public health measures, which are the 3 W's, and we simply need to do whatever we can to get as many people vaccinated as soon as possible. Some statewide updates. Positivity percentage statewide is 12.3%. Cases are now averaging around 7,000 per day. State is on track, possibly to exceed January's peak in total COVID cases. We are seeing American Indian and Blacks still representing the highest demographics for COVID-19 infections statewide. The state is keeping a close eye on hospital EDs, for they are remaining crowded and they may have to discuss foregoing elective surgeries. It's getting that serious. 18% of new cases reported statewide are what we call breakthrough cases. In other words, people who've had vaccines and they have gotten COVID. And the month of September may be a repeat of this month if vaccinations don't increase. Locally, we currently have 793 active cases. 28,018 individuals have beat COVID. We have picked up a few deaths, 237, and hearts and prayers and meditations are always with those families who've lost loved ones to COVID. 12 other related deaths, and that gives us a total of 29,062 as of 6:30 this evening. Our 7-day moving average of positive cases is 118. Hard to believe that in early June, it was just minuscule, right in less than 20. So the Delta variant is really spreading rapidly. This is an increase of 85 from last week and 48 2 weeks ago. So far, 2,134 COVID-19 cases so far in the month of August, as of August the 20th. We continue to keep a very close eye on race and ethnicity trends, and our Hispanic or Latinx and whites population continue to be proportionally or underrepresented. However, Black of African American individuals are overrepresented at 47.83% of all our cases, though they represent 37% of all our county residents. I fully expect for that to change because we have been vaccinating like no other due to this incentive campaign. Positive percentage of labs, we're currently at 8.1%, which is 2 percentage points higher than 2 weeks ago at 6.1. And since July 25th, we have been above 5% ranges. And that's definitely not where we want to be, but it is indicative of our current state of affairs. Per the CDC, we're continuing to do well with vaccinations. More than half of our population have been fully vaccinated overall. Those individuals are over the age of 12 and older, 64.2%. 18 years of age and older, 65.5%. And of course, our seniors at 84.1% fully vaccinated. Our level of community transmission, like the rest of the counties in North Carolina, is at high, with the exception of Hyde County, which is now in the yellow. So we're beginning to see glimmers of hope overall. North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services has us at 63% receiving 1 dose and 59% fully vaccinated. So a little bit of a discrepancy, but we'll take it. As Commissioner Burns said, our statistics are definitely commendable compared to some other locations in North Carolina. Vaccinations for Durham residents, there have been 356,367 vaccinations performed through August 16, 7,724 vaccinations administered through August 16, which represents a 37% increase in the number of vaccinations, directly tied to the $100 vaccine incentive campaign that Durham currently participates in. Durham County residents have been vaccinated 606 vaccine provider sites across North Carolina. By race, we continue to strive to do the very best that we can. Our commissioners, our white population, 13.67% have been partially vaccinated, whereas 56.3% have been fully vaccinated. The Black or African American community will continue to make strides at 11.86% of our residents receiving 1 dose, and the African American community with 39.5% fully vaccinated. Our Asian population continues to do well with 66.62% fully vaccinated, 19.73% receiving at least 1 dose, and our Hispanic population, a total of 24,081 Hispanics or Latinx residents have been vaccinated. As I've said to you times before, we've been seeing many, many families come to get vaccinated. 16.23% of our residents have been partially vaccinated in the Latinx community, whereas 46.41% have been fully vaccinated. I wanted to give you a snapshot of our breakthrough cases. They're currently making up 9.75% of our COVID-19 cases in Durham for the week ending August 21st. However, we do know that breakthrough cases are amongst us, and they are identified as a person who has been fully vaccinated for at least 14 days before contracting COVID-19. During the month of July, and that was when Durham County really rang the alarm for the state. An average of 21.72% of our cases were breakthrough cases, while in August, we've been seeing a slight decrease at 18.21%. And our caseload for the month of August through the 21st currently has been the highest as it's been all year. So we are certainly hoping that we are able to peak out sooner rather than later. When it comes to unvaccinated individuals and mortality, 7.753% of all cases per 100,000 of unvaccinated individuals in Durham end up dying. Whereas if you are vaccinated, then that means 0.17 per 100,000 end up, again, passing away. However, it's really attributed to this current state of affairs that we're in. Bottom line, what is the risk of dying of COVID-19 for people who are vaccinated versus unvaccinated? This is why we are really promoting the vaccine, because we do know that it's doing what it's supposed to do, which is preventing severe hospitalization, but most importantly, it's preventing death. And again, the attack rate, that is the rate in which COVID-19, particularly this Delta variant, attacks the human body. The attack rate amongst unvaccinated individuals is at 1,580 cases per 100,000 individuals. The attack rate amongst vaccinated individuals is 251 cases. So that represents 6 times more likely individuals will contract COVID-19 versus vaccinated individuals. So with that being said, we certainly hope that this information is useful for you. A few updates. Beginning September 1st, we will take a pause on vaccine outreach. We hope to regroup, reset, and plan our operations for the administration of boosters. Pending authorization of 12 and younger, we want to prepare for that population. And we also want to prepare for the fall-winter season. In short, we have been at this since December 22nd. We've not taken a break since the spring. We've been vaccinated in the hot summer weather. It is now time for us to take care of our staff and make sure that they're ready. Additionally, the multiple outreach are really becoming dangerous with the community spread being what it is, and the Delta variant really causing a high number of breakthrough cases. Mass vaccination clinic will continue to be open Monday through Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday is extended hours. Fridays will be reserved for select outreach events. And we also plan to utilize our COVID mobile vaccination partners for requested outreach events in the communities. Booster shots for immunocompromised residents will begin this Thursday morning. We ask that you contact the COVID hotline at 919-560-9217 for more information or to schedule an appointment. And as mentioned, our vaccine incentive gift card campaign has been wildly, hugely successful. It ends on August 31st. We've had lines wrapped around the building. And for the most part, when it ends, we will have administered well over 25,000 gift cards to Durham residents. That's those individuals who were lucky enough to receive a $100 gift card for first dose, and for individuals who transported people to get the vaccines, they received $25. That concludes my presentation. I think it was in 10 minutes or less. We'd love to answer your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. I just have one quick question. When you say individuals being compromised, could you say a little bit more about that?
Unfortunately, we do know that this Delta variant packs a punch, and thus the reason why we are going down the road of employing boosters. Those people who are 8 months away from their last dose, it has been said that the vaccine has begun to wane. So therefore, this being a pandemic of the unvaccinated is really ringing true, because as we've said so many times, the more people stand on the sidelines and don't get vaccinated, the more that these variants really take the time to figure out how to continue to infect, how to continue to find hosts, and continue to mutate into something else. So we are thankful for the incentive campaign. We do know that we did see a lot of different demographics come to partake in it. They followed us everywhere we went, from the Health and Human Services building to the outreach events. Saturday, we had an outreach event in the Lebanon community to celebrate a church groundbreaking. And by the time we stood up the tents and got ready, we had 50 people in line waiting. And the temperature was like 95 degrees. So, I mean, it's paying off, but we do know that breakthrough cases are here. We want people to continue to protect themselves. And what we're finding, Madam Chair, to be brief, is that a lot of these breakthrough cases are people who are operating with reckless abandon and acting as if COVID is not here. They're going to fun parks, they're going to restaurants, they're not masking up, they're not practicing 3Ws. And what we need for them to understand is that COVID is still a real, clear, and present danger. It's not over. I hope that answers your question, Madam Chair.
Oh, it's still not, I just wanted to be clear to our public about a compromise. How are you compromised?
You are compromised.
How are we compromised? Yes.
You are compromised when, although you are fully vaccinated, you don't mask up. As our current mask mandate states, when you are indoors, you are to mask up. The only time you should not be masked is if you are outdoors, because our orders allow for that. You are compromised when you don't practice those 3Ws. You're compromising yourself and others when you know of others who should be vaccinated and you're not taking the opportunity to really educate them. You know, you don't want to put any pressure on anyone, but you certainly want to make sure that you give them the information that they need in order to make a life-changing decision. Because with this sustained level of infection in North Carolina, we're bound to see more deaths. And these deaths are totally unavoidable. I mean, you can avoid it. So that's what I feel they are doing when they really compromise themselves.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted that to be real clear. Commissioner Burns.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Director Jenkins, as always. I think more people are going to be tuning in now. I do want to applaud you for those of us who actually attended any county commissioner events this year. Your name came up quite a bit. You know, we had, I know on last week, I was bothering both you and Joanne that morning, because if the public doesn't know, or my colleagues do not know, he just referenced that we gave out 25,000 cards. There are counties in North Carolina that have public health directors who sent their cards back, who do not care about their communities, whose county commissioners do not care about their communities. They sent the gift cards back. So one, thank you for just at least setting up the infrastructure to get those out. Continuing to do the hard work and not looking down on people who did not do it before now. I've talked to some of the community groups. I've read some of the press releases about some of the statements. Some people are saying, oh, it's because somebody dies. Other people are saying $100 doesn't hurt. Whatever it takes to get them in the door. I mean, when I've been out there, I know Commissioner Long said she was out there this week. I was out there some last week. Like, these are the comments that we hear. I lost 2 more friends to COVID this week. They were only in the hospital 2 days. 2 more friends, you know. Just finished up her second master's, and I had another friend who just didn't, and she was vaccinated. Another friend wasn't vaccinated. So it is getting very real out here right now. I did want to follow up on something that Commissioner Howard said. I understand what compromise means. I understand what immunocompromise means. You know, when you have a impaired immune system. My issue, or not my issue, you just stated on camera that we might be providing boosters. Starting on Thursday, and we have directed the public, or you have, that they need to call. I think fear will have everybody calling to get a booster. So I would love, and I know this puts more work on you all, if we could actually say this is what an immunocompromised person looks like. Somebody who might have breast cancer, somebody who's going through chemo, somebody who's on dialysis. Because what we don't want is everybody and their mama calling on the phone because they're like me and they lost 2 people this week and they're scared. But we want this booster, this 3rd shot. So 8 months back, what are we looking at? January, February, March, individuals like that. This needs to be for folks who actually have some kind of pre-existing health condition. So I don't know if you're allowed to do it, but as far as the regulations will allow, I would love for us to at least have a list available online, or at least be able to direct people on the phone. If you are not immunocompromised, perhaps you don't need to make an appointment. Is that a fair assumption to make?
Yes, ma'am. And thank you so much, Commissioner Burns, for articulating the finer points of immunocompromised individuals. I mean, of course, people are going to say my foot is swollen, my leg is swollen, and I think I'm immunocompromised. And I say that in jest, but what you said is accurate. And I'm so thankful for my nursing corps, because they are the backbone of public health. And they're not going to allow us to do anything to compromise our integrity and to compromise what we're supposed to do for medical practice. So our hotline is prepared. They know the questions to ask. And the folks who are checking folks in for those people who may be immunocompromised, they certainly know the questions to ask to ensure that we're doing everything that's in lockstep with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services regulations that allows us.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Jacobs?
Thank you, Rod, for your great report. And there was a lot of really interesting data that you shared, some new data points in this ever-changing landscape that unfortunately we still find ourselves in. But I know you mentioned it. I also mentioned earlier, we did have good news today with the FDA approval of Pfizer. So I really hope that will help people who have had hesitancy because it didn't have, the official approval, and also take away one excuse that people have for questioning the vaccination. So that's great news. And there has been recent legislation that really strengthens and expands the role of pharmacies in continuing to help give vaccinations. So those are, I think, really two good things, because we know the local pharmacies have really helped us so much. I was wondering, Rod, what, when you look at, for instance, we're fortunate, right? Tonight we had on our consent agenda over $730,000 for, again, helping with vaccinations for specifically women and children. We've had several grants that we've approved, so we're really fortunate. Do you have any thoughts at this point of what you might want to use that for? And I'm just wondering, since you feel like the carrots work so well and the gift cards work so well, if we could, is that something we could continue doing for gift cards or some type of economic incentives? If that seems effective, would that be funding that we could use for that?
We certainly could. Of course, the majority of the agreements, addenda that you are presented with for approval have very defined initiatives and directives that we have to follow. But make no mistake about it, Commissioner Jacobs, we have really thought carefully and intentionally about any particular incentives that we can offer. We are thankful for the state, because again, this is something that they did on their own, and there's some other ideas that they have as far as incentivizing individuals to get it. We have several meetings scheduled for the rest of the week, but there are some things that we really want to do in terms of continued outreach. The tents were up. Many different places saw the beautiful colors of Durham County, and they saw Durham Public Health in places that they haven't seen us in a long time. So when we talk about, using these funds, we're talking about using it for mobile vaccination vehicles. We're talking about, additional staff to help us extend our bandwidth, because as it stands right now, staff is tired. And all of these things, the different agreement addendas allow us to do. So as I said before, I have a nursing corps that is committed to making sure that, Mr. Jenkins, either you can do this or you can't, because there are times when I get a little wild with my ideas. but at the same time, we want to make sure we do everything decently and in order.
Thank you. And speaking of incentives, I want to commend our interim county manager, Claudia Hager, who today we learned has notified our staff about a new implementation of a COVID-19 testing and vaccine incentives program. And so I really appreciate your strong leadership on this, interim manager Hager. And I think this is so important because I personally feel like it's going to take employers really focusing on getting all of our employees vaccinated, and every type of work environment is going to be important. And we're already seeing the impact on our staff. And so I'm really glad that we are going to be incentivizing that. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that at this time or at a future time, Manager Hager.
Can I question? Claudia, is that the one that we got last week? I think, Commissioner Jacobs, I think you've been out of the country, and is that the same one we've gotten already, or is that something different, Claudia?
Well, I updated the board last week. Today, the email went out to employees. So we shared it with department heads Wednesday, and today it was to the rest of the employees. And the incentive is similar to what's happening at jurisdictions and companies across the country and world. Trying to encourage vaccinations because based on the data, the vaccinations can help reduce the Delta variant. And so employees that are vaccinated by October 4th can receive a financial incentive of $250 and 2 bonus days off. Those who do not decide to become vaccinated, because that is a choice, they will have to go through weekly testing. And we will continue to evaluate the approaches we take with trying to keep our employees safe. I also stress the employees' families and our citizens. And Durham County has done a lot since March to be in the forefront with one of the first places to have a mask requirement. Our approach with screening, which we still do. And so we're just asking the employees to partner with us on this step to keep each other safe.
Madam Chair, if I may, I do
want to make sure I didn't miss something, because I knew that we had gotten that email last week, and when Commissioner Jacobs said came out today, it's like, okay, did we miss something? All right, Rod, go ahead.
I was just saying I do commend Interim Manager Hager for her leadership, and I also want to give a huge shout out to Durham County's COVID-19 task force. They have been directly responsible for making sure that things are safe. What I was surprised to hear is that there are some major hospital systems in the triangle area that are not doing screening. They're not doing screening. And to say that, we are still doing that is a commitment to the safety of our employees and our citizens. So big shout out to you, Interim Manager.
Thank you. All right. Anything else for you, Claudia?
No, ma'am.
Madam Chair.
Yes. Commissioner Carter.
May I be recognized for a question for Mr. Jenkins, please?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Hey, Rod, great report, really interesting data. I agree. I really think that attack rate number is one that I'm going to try to keep in my head. 1580 per 100,000 for unvaccinated versus 251 per 100,000 for vaccinated, for people who are concerned that, with the vaccine efficacy, that seems like a really good number. I was wondering about children. Do we have any data on the number of children who are infected in Durham County, or any clusters in daycares or schools?
I will say I'd be happy to get y'all that information. I don't have it at my fingertips, but I will say it is relatively low, and we're holding our own. I'm proud to say to the commissioners that we maintain constant contact with Durham Public Schools. Every Monday at 2 o'clock we have a standing meeting that has never changed when schools were away. We're keeping a close eye to make sure that our children, students, and staff are safe. And again, excellent relationship that I have with Dr. Mabinga and Dr. Monk and Dr. Hardy and the leadership of Durham Public Schools. So with that being said, clusters are relatively low. I think we have less than 5 clusters involving children. Not that we don't have any, but we have that clusters task force, if you will, that is definitely a major part of our surveillance efforts. But more than happy to get that information as soon as I sign on.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter, for that question. That's always a real concern for all of us, that we do everything we can to take care of our little ones. So thank you for that one. Any other questions or concerns, commissioners? As always, Rod, thank you so much for all that you and your team are doing to keep the citizens in Durham safe and well. And I know that at some point, thank you for taking a vacation, first of all, and I'm sure your wife thanks you as well. And I know that you said something about coming up, there's going to be a time where your staff will get some downtime. And I pray that to be true.
Yes, ma'am. We're doing everything we can to keep our staff whole and sane, and we certainly value their contributions. But we appreciate your support, Madam Chair, and the rest of the commissioners.
Thank you. Okay. Nothing else. We're going to move on to boards and commissioner appointments. At this time, our interim county attorney, Willie Darby, will read the results of the appointments. You there, Attorney Darby? There you are.
All right. Good evening, commissioners and interim manager Hager. It gives me pleasure to announce for you the members to the various boards and authorities. First, for the Dangerous Dog Appeal Board, you have selected Miriam Mulligan. To the Durham County Convention Center Authority, you have selected Miriam Delahunt Andrews. To the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, you have selected Lakeisha Blake as your faith community representative. You've selected Joseph Jackson III as your youth representative, and you have selected Brandon Morrissey as your citizen representative. To the TJ Cog Water Resource Collaborative, you have selected Michael Koenig. Those are your new members. Thank you.
You have a question, Commissioner Alam, about the appointments?
Not a question. I just, I think I may have heard wrong, or I wanted to just correct it in case. For the first one, it's Brian Mulligan, not Marion Mulligan.
Yeah, it's Brian. You're right.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Attorney Darby, and congratulations to the citizens for their appointments. And I just want to recognize them and thank the citizens of Durham for serving on our boards and our commissions and committees and our authorities. We could not do all the things that we do as commissioners without the citizens' participation. So I just want to say thank you for your willingness to serve. So Commissioners, we're down now to, and thank all of the citizens for being online tonight and participating in this meeting. We are down now to our closed session. The board is requested to adjourn into closed session for the following: to establish or to instruct the public body staff or negotiating agents concerning the position to be taken by or on behalf of the public body in negotiating the price and other material terms of a contract or proposed contract for the acquisition of real property by purchase, option, exchange, or lease, or the amount of compensation and other material terms of an employment contract or proposed employment contract pursuant to GS 143-318.11A5. Also to consider the qualification, competence, performance, character, fitness, condition of appointment, or condition of initial employment of an individual public officer or employee or prospective public officer by or against an individual pursuant to GS 143-318-11A6. I will entertain a motion for approval to go into closed session.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Seconded.
Moved by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Long. Okay, and I will have a verbal vote by a clerk.
Commissioner Alon,
Aye.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs,
Aye.
Chair Howerton.
Aye. Just before we go into closed session, I do want to remind the citizens and the community that with public observance of Labor Day and Rosh Hashanah holiday, the board will hold the September work session virtually on Thursday, September 9th at 9 a.m. It'll be Thursday, September the 9th at 9 a.m. We are in closed session. heading closed session, giving direction to staff. You get a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and properly second. We roll call.
Commissioner Alam,
Aye.
Commissioner Burns,
Aye.
Commissioner Carter,
Aye.
Vice Chair Jacobs,
Aye.
Chair Howerton.
Aye, 5-0. We have adjourned. Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Night,
Good,
everyone.
everybody. Thank you.